Welcome to No Cover Comics.
Star Wars number 7, January 1978. New Planets, New Perils. Written by Roy Thomas. Art by Howard Chaykin.
The dreaded Death Star has finally met its end, and the sinister Darth Vader, its last remnant, is now fleeing across the galaxy, slipping away from the eyes of all. On the fourth moon of Yavin, old friends exchange heartfelt goodbyes that can no longer be postponed.
Take care, Luke. And you too, Princess. Kid, I really wish you could join us. You'd make an amazing star hopper.
Thanks, Han. I appreciate it, but I've got to stick around for now, at least until we can find a new world to set up as our main rebel base.
Once Darth Vader reestablishes contact with the Empire, the Yavin system will no longer be a secure location for us. The rebellion must continue its efforts elsewhere, even in your absence, Han.
Please stop feeling sorry for yourself, R2. You'll have the opportunity to see Master Solo again.
He sure will. Whatever you do, Luke, and wherever you go, I'll track you all down after I take care of my business. That's a promise from Han Solo.
The Millennium Falcon zooms away from Yavin while Han and Chewbacca talk about what to do next. They want to stick around and help Princess Leia and the rebels. But since there's a bounty on their heads, they need to return to Tatooine and pay Jabba the Hutt before he sends bounty hunters after them. So, they head towards Mos Eisley, but they're still quite a distance from getting into hyperspace. While they're chatting about how much cash they'll have left after paying Jabba, a cruiser rolls in and before they realize it, pirates launch an attack. While the Millennium Falcon is tied up battling the smaller fighters, the cruiser gets into position and the Falcon gets caught in a tractor beam. Again. Han is curious about the identity of the pirate captain, impressed by the diverse array of fighters under his command. Soon, the Millennium Falcon is overwhelmed by space pirates led by a red-bearded man in black. Before Han and Chewie can draw their weapons, they find themselves surrounded. Han reacquaints himself with the red-bearded captain, Crimson Jack, an old frenemy. In a difficult situation, Han and Chewie surrender their significant cargo. While one of Jack's minions wishes to eliminate Han, Crimson Jack prefers to keep him alive, planning to steal from him at a later time. Now without resources, Han and Chewie must go into hiding from Jabba. Aduba 3 is a remote planet that meets their needs. As Han and Chewie make their way into the spaceport town in search of employment, they observe the unusually quiet streets before encountering a disturbance near the local cantina. It appears that many locals are expressing their discontent towards a priest on a bantha, prompting Han and Chewie to investigate the situation. The gathering of spacers displays visible frustration, and when the priest dismounts from his bantha, he is promptly attacked. Despite his efforts to defend himself, the priest is quickly overwhelmed, which leads Han and Chewie to intervene. They efficiently manage the lesser combatants and check on the priest's well-being. Han inquires about the nature of the conflict, to which the priest explains that the individual being transported by the bantha passed away the previous night and is a cyborg. The spacers harbor a strong aversion to robots and are refusing to allow the deceased to be buried on Spacers Hill. The priest reveals that the deceased had rights as a pilot and asks Han if he would be willing to handle the burial. Additionally, he mentions that the person who performs the burial will receive the deceased's bag of money, to which Han agrees. Han and Chewie assume control of leading the bantha, while the racially biased spacers trail behind at a distance. However, tensions escalate when rocks are thrown, leading to Han being pulled from the bantha. Despite his efforts to refrain from using lethal force, he finds himself compelled to shoot an axe-wielding spacer. This action triggers a full-scale shootout between Han, Chewie, and the priest against the hostile crowd. It isn't long before the spacers begin to disperse, leaving Han and Chewie on alert. They have secured the right to bury the cyborg on Spacers Hill, and by tomorrow, many of the spacers present will be joining him. With their victory, the path is now clear. However, unfortunately, the bantha was killed during the conflict. The priest notes that transporting the heavy cyborg will be challenging without the bantha. Han points out that it will not be difficult for Chewbacca. With the priest taking the lead, Chewbacca supporting the cyborg, and Han bringing up the rear, the unusual group makes their way slowly to the burial mound. Once the priest completes the burial ritual, Han inquires about a local cantina where he can obtain a drink. The priest provides Han with a location and assures him that there should be no further issues, as their previous conflict was resolved fairly. At the cantina, Han and Chewbacca appreciate the ambience of the establishment and decide to purchase a round of drinks for all patrons to foster goodwill following their recent altercation. Han engages in a conversation with a striking blue-skinned woman and begins to walk away with her. He inquires if Chewie will be all right on his own, only to observe that Chewbacca is accompanied by 2 women. Upon looking back, Han realizes the blue-skinned woman has vanished. Before he can locate her, 3 men approach Han with a dangerous proposal. Next issue, Trouble in Paradise.
Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe.